Welcome back, everyone. Next up, we have Dronedek. It's a private company who holds a robust first position patent portfolio for secure drone package receiving and storage. Please welcome its CEO, Dan O'Toole. Welcome, Dan. How you doing today?
Great, Anna. Hey, thanks for having us. How are you today?
Great. Excited to hear your presentation and meet your team.
Great. Well, let's go around the horn real quick. Each of you want to introduce yourself, Nirav?
Sure. Hi, Nirav Shah, Chief Strategy Officer with Dronedek. Thanks for having us.
Laura?
John Murchison, patent attorney for Dronedek.
Laura?
Hi, Laura O'Toole, VP of Business Development.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Okay, let's kick off here. Thanks for considering the Dronedek story. Dronedek is the next generation mailbox. We're consolidating all delivery to one secure point to include robotic delivery, unmanned driverless vehicle delivery, aerial drone delivery, as well as U.S. mail and conventional delivery. Dronedek has a really robust intellectual property portfolio, 111 claims that we've either filed for or been awarded. But in addition to that, it's really important to execute every day with a world-class team, and that's what we have here at Dronedek. If you look, you can see we've got representation from all walks of corporate life, strategy, innovation, CTO, legal, accounting, business development, and we also have great experiences with major companies and entities. You can see listed there. So we're really proud of that, and we're executing every day. I always say it's great to brag about yourselves, but it's even better when others do it for you. I'm really proud of this slide here. Excuse me. The NASDAQ recently reached out and said, hey, we're always trying to identify the next big thing, and we think that the segment that you're iterating in is that. And so I'd love to give you a shout out on the iconic NASDAQ tower in Times Square. So they put a message up there to us. We're based out of Lawrence, Indiana. So we're able to orchestrate Lawrence, Indiana into the message. And the city, the mayor of Lawrence was able to use this in the State of the City address as well. And he said this is the first time Lawrence has ever been on the NASDAQ. So kind of got a 2-for-1 there. It was really exciting. Also, Fox Business News got to go on and talk to Neil Cavuto about the IP that we have here at Dronedek. And we've been mentioned in several other articles and media events. If you Google Dronedek, you can see it's pretty active out there. So really proud of that. I'm going to queue up a quick video here. Picture's worth 1,000 words. So Ryan, if you want to run the video, this is a commercial use case for Dronedek. So it's a little bit larger unit, but I think you'll pay attention to all the features and benefits that Dronedek is offering. We're really excited about that. All right, so that's our video. Pictures worth 1,000 words. If you have any questions, we're happy to answer those at the end of the presentation. Go ahead, Nirav. Next.
Thanks, Dan. So internally, we like to call the movement away from going to stores, getting in your station wagon, minivan. If you've got kids, going to the store, getting stuff, a movement towards the Amazon economy. Everyone's getting more and more packages on a daily basis. So while that's good for the consumer, it's creating some short-term hassles for homeowners and business owners. There's porch piracy. 1.7 million packages are lost on a daily basis in the United States alone. We're just seeing a lot of porch piracy. We're seeing missed shipments. We're seeing errors in what's being received in your home. We're also seeing a lot of environmental costs to this. So in my neighborhood, all day long, there's Amazon trucks and UPS and FedEx and USPS. So we're seeing a lot more traffic and congestion in the neighborhoods. So this is just creating, again, like I'd mentioned, the movement away from getting in your car and going to the stores to getting packages at home is creating some short-term problems that we think we have the solution for. And so we think there's a huge opportunity. So right now, traditional deliveries cost around $2 a package. Moving to deliveries to a Dronedek, that drops to $1 a package. So there's $1 billion saved in the shipping economy in the United States every 11 days. So that's huge numbers. I want to just kind of go back over that. Again, they're quite staggering. But on a daily basis, every 11 days, we're saving $1 billion in the ship economy shipping to a Dronedek. So we're taking costs from $2 from a traditional perspective to delivery to a Dronedek cuts that in half to $1. Another staggering fact that I always enjoy talking about is the number of trucks we take off the road. So even moving 1% of shipments from traditional to deliveries to a Dronedek, we take 3,000 trucks off the road in the United States alone. So that's just a huge savings that we can only imagine the carbon footprint that we're reducing by moving towards automated deliveries. The other thing we're doing is we're expanding the delivery envelope of what can be delivered. So not only are we allowing for things like medication and cannabis, hot food and cold food to be delivered effectively, but we're also allowing for chain of custody. So we're expanding the value of things that can be delivered to a home. Traditionally, if you've got some jewelry for your wife, you wouldn't necessarily want to have that delivered by Amazon to your front door. Now we're able to take more secure packages, hot food, cold food. So we're expanding that envelope. And from a business perspective, what we're also doing, it's good in the consumer space, but much bigger in a B2B sense is chain of custody and monitoring who gets what when and keeping that in the blockchain. So we feel really good about expanding what can be delivered. And again, I'd mentioned the superior environmental advantages to a Dronedek. Thanks, Dan.
Thank you, Nirav. Kind of just dovetailing on what Nirav just said. If you look at the trajectory of package delivery, you can see it's just skyrocketing. In the last 3 years, the U.S. Postal Service has delivered back in 2019 219 billion items. This year, they're going to deliver 250 billion items. In that same period, Amazon has leapfrogged FedEx and UPS, going from about 2.5 billion to 6.5 billion items. And you can see the others there. It is a huge amount. And that's really exciting for us. In addition to that, 91% of all purchases are 5 pounds or less, which really makes them in the sweet spot of autonomous delivery to a Dronedek. So everything's kind of lining up in our favor, and we're really excited about where things are headed and how we insinuate ourselves into the new last mile delivery chain. So it's exciting.
Laura, do you want to take this slide, please?
Yep, I'd be happy to. Thanks, Nirav. So we've been seeing a lot of new regulations coming out that are really paving the way for autonomous delivery to hit the market at large scale. So a couple of those, our drones are now able to carry payloads beyond visual line of sight, or BVLOS. This is what came out in about 2020. So this allows drones to fly much further delivering packages, whereas also the remote ID of drones. So you can think of this as a drone license plate. This is for the FAA and other law enforcement agencies, so they have information on altitude, drone location, and the control center. And then we move on to flying over populated areas and nighttime flying. So we're now able to fly over people, over cars, and fly at night under Part 107, which is within visual line of sight. And you can do this without waivers now, as long as the drone meets the minimum requirements. And then finally, we get to the certification of drones, and this is very new. This is the type certification. This is what you see for airplanes as well. And it is the FAA approval of not only the design of the aircraft, but all of the components. And it assures that these are meeting the FAA safety requirements. And you can also see on here the map. These show where a lot of the drone delivery pilots are happening. Several companies like Wing, Amazon Prime Air, and UPS Flight Forward are doing major pilot programs where they're testing drone delivery to large areas under these regulations. So very exciting.
Thanks, Laura. Do you also want to hit the next slide, please, if you don't mind?
Sure. So this illustrates the landscape that we're working in our industry. So we have major companies like Google, Walmart, FedEx, all iterating in the same industry. And what's really neat about us is that we don't see these as competitors. These are potential partners for us. So they're not doing what we're doing. They're just working in the same space. So we can work with them and make not only our product stronger, but we can also just make autonomous delivery in general stronger and easier for everyone.
Thanks, Laura. Dan, do you want to hit this one?
Yeah, thanks, Nirav. Just want to kind of reiterate to you guys out there listening, we are not the drone, we're the Dronedek. Dronedek is that one little piece of real estate that is the gateway to every home and business, not only in the US, but throughout the world. Every delivery will start or end at a Dronedek. So we're platform agnostic and welcoming to all forms of delivery. As I mentioned at the beginning, autonomous unmanned driverless vehicle, robotic delivery, aerial drone, as well as UPS or conventional mail and UPS and things like that. So this is a Dronedek in different configurations. Top left, the mail door is open. You can see receiving mail from the U.S. Postal Service. Top right, the door is open. It just received an aerial drone delivery. And then you can see some of the side dimensional views of a Dronedek. Dronedek can be used residentially. We have 3 commercial sizes. We have a cluster box, a multi-unit configuration for high-density urban areas and multi-family areas. And then we also are working on a portable unit, which you saw earlier in the video. Our current feature set is listed there on the left. Our future feature set is on the right, and these are all our patented claims that are coming into play with our development. Product use cases. I mentioned earlier, 91% of all deliveries are 5 pounds or less, which really means all use cases are transcending. We were able to work with any of them. So all these different use cases are really great for Dronedek use, to include medical campuses, university, restaurants, businesses, single family, multifamily homes, apartments, governmental, defense, institutional. So it's really a saturation play, going into zip codes, saturating and blanketing the whole zip code, no matter what the use is. That's Dronedek. This is our product evolution. Back in 2014, I had the idea for Dronedek, ran to the patent office. I realized that we're in a race. It's almost an unwritten rule that when one person has an idea, 10 people throughout the world have that same idea at the same time. And armed with that notion, literally ran to the patent office. As it turns out, we beat Amazon by just 4 days. We beat the U.S. Postal Service by 2 weeks and other companies by less than a month. So if you look at the top left, that's a schematic that was actually used in our first patent filing. In the middle there is an ergonomic unit that we put together to think about how Dronedek would interact with different nodes of delivery. Top right, it starts taking shape as an actual unit. The bottom left is a Dronedek in the field in use. And then across to the bottom right, we just completed an industrial design exercise. We're always trying to raise the bar on aesthetics, sleekness, state of the art, engineering. Just always want to be better. And this is our latest unit that's actually in production right now. We're looking to take delivery of our first units of this generation Q1 of next year. So it's an exciting time. This is our patent overview. I'm going to turn this over to John, our patent attorney and chief counsel. John? I think you're muted, John. John, are
I'm
you
so
there?
talented as a patent attorney that I can't find the unmute. So other than that, I'm pretty talented. Thanks, Dan. The fact that somebody ran to the patent office is true. That wasn't Dan. That was actually me. And I've been running around for Dan. I've managed to lose a few pounds, but we have now 2 approved patents, and those 2 approved patents, the first one is actually among the first patents that were even issued in anything like lockable boxes and of course, the Dronedek and other things that receive robotic type packages or robotic vehicles that bring packages to one place. When Dan came up with the idea, he had a lot of different parts to it. It turned out that there was a lot more there than what we had in the first patent. So we very quickly came through with the second patent. The first patent went in 2014, got examined, and was issued in early 2017. The second patent followed up right after that and got issued in 2019. We currently have 2 more patents that are out there ready to be examined. I expect to get notification any day from the patent office that they're being examined now by the patent examiners. Once that happens, we expect that we will go forward with additional patents being approved. The nice thing about the third and fourth patents that we've got out there, there's a lot more features that we've added in there. In addition to being a lockable box, a box that receives the drone, a box that has great communication back and forth with the individual that's receiving the package or maybe returning the package. The new patents have also got a lot more features from the standpoint of we've added in a lot of light features, audio features. We've added in features with the advent of COVID. Of course, we added in some features about sanitizing the packages, making sure that that's not passed on to the receiver, and things like that. As we got into it, we also decided that it's time to go international. Those last 2 patents are also up for patents that are going to an additional 24 countries around the world. That means we'd have, if we got them all, we'd have about 48 international patents if we get all those. We haven't stopped there. We've also got a few provisionals that are out there, some things on what they call cluster boxes that we think are very important to some of the bigger neighborhoods and some of the commercial clients that we're going to have that I mentioned earlier. And we're very excited from the IP standpoint. Not only do we think we've got, and we do have a first position in a lot of these features and functions, but we also think that we've got a lot of the features and functions that you, the clients out there and the investors want us to have. So without that, I'm going to turn it back over, I think, to Neerav for some additional information about the product.
Thanks, Sean. Appreciate that. I wanted to talk about some of the... Sorry? Oh, yeah, I wanted to talk about some of the product milestones and where we're at with partnerships, et cetera, just to kind of point out where, what we're thinking about. So we've definitely got a lot of partnerships in municipalities. We're looking at, companies like a UPS and some cannabis delivery with Fly High. Oracle, for example, does a lot of our cloud computing. We've got a partner in Speedy Eats. We're looking at distributed hot and fresh food created in the field. We've got DroneUp, which is 16% owned by Walmart. So these are some of the big ones. We worked with DoorDash and Uber Eats, and we're working to get access to our unit through their app. But I wanted to point out something a little smaller, that's a little more obscure, but I think is kind of telling about where our head's at as far as the company. So we've got obviously the revenue streams that are related to the actual delivery, but we've got this really valuable piece of real estate in front of people's homes and businesses. And, Dan had mentioned, drone delivery, ground robot delivery. And so that's a definite revenue stream. But we're also thinking about this security and what else can we add to the Dronedek. So there's a company in upstate New York called Chimera Systems. And just give you an example, they're doing integration for us for different kinds of access control using the blockchain. We're looking at smart city type sensors, car counting, and Dan's going to get into some of those other ones, some of those other revenue streams. But I was just pointing out that, we're kind of thinking about this valuable piece of real estate. What can we do with that in front of people's homes? And what value can we add to our investor community? So I thought that was a nice little story. So just moving ahead a little bit, what we're doing in Lawrence, Indiana, we just completed a wonderful 2-week pilot where we had deliveries for traditional first-class mail, USPS deliveries to a smart mailbox, and that was very special. We were able to get feedback from our local mail carriers, and it was a first of its kind. So that was exciting for us. We had a couple of local businesses and restaurants where we had food delivered, traditional mail, and so we were able to gather a lot of data about use cases. So here in the next year or so, we'll be putting an additional number of boxes. We're looking at 25 to 50 boxes in Lawrence and expanding who it is that we're working with. So I'd mentioned some restaurants and homes. We'd like to get some more retail involved. There's a regional hospital group in central Indiana called Community Health. We'd like to begin to explore deliveries of medications, prescriptions within the community network. In fact, we're meeting with the surgery centers in the next couple of weeks. So we're looking, what else can we do besides hospitals, restaurants, residences, retail? So, we're looking to expand that. And then you can see at the bottom, the 4,000 homes we're looking at in about 18 months, where we're really expanding our radius to include a lot of the big retailers and traditional home companies that you would expect. And so we're pretty excited about this crawl, walk, run, right? We're taking it really slowly, starting small. We really want to make sure that we're capturing everything that we can as far as learnings and moving ahead in the right way, nice and deliberate. So finally, I'll just talk about the next few years and what we're kind of seeing. So we're doing some pilots this year. We're looking to get into thousands of homes in the next few years. Our real hockey stick happens in 2025, where we're looking at 75,000 units in homes and businesses. And that for us is what we're working for and working towards every single day. So a lot of the hires we're talking about, a lot of the partnerships that we're looking at, from maintenance to installation to customer service to remote diagnostics, we're really planning and prepping for that day when we have 75,000 units in the field and how we can offer the best consumer experience. So I'll turn it back over to Dan. Thank you.
Thanks, Nirav. Getting into the revenue numbers, which is kind of the thing that everybody's looking at. We have 5 revenue streams. We're not just a one-trick pony. We're very diversified in the revenue opportunities, which is really exciting. It's very diversified and gives us a lot of opportunity. You can never buy a Dronedek. You can only subscribe to it. We know that if people had to, or businesses had to purchase a Dronedek, that would be an impediment to wholesale saturation of the market. So the way we defeat that is by offering it as a subscription service. You've heard of SaaS, software as a service. We've got MaaS, mailbox as a service. That's a new category that we're rolling out. So through subscriptions with 1% of the market, we're looking at a $3 billion opportunity. We have the ability to harvest and monetize big data in 2 ways. One is environmentally through our location, being the gateway to every home and business with great connectivity. We can stream live video. We can harvest traffic flows, weather patterns, proximity email addresses. But then through the user agreement, we've got great features and benefits that you were able to see in our video. People are going to want those. So we offer an exchange or a barter if you're willing to share your big data with us, we're willing to give you those features and benefits. And so if we're able to have access to the big data, we're going to know, what you buy, when you buy it, how often you get it, what you pay, who you get it from, age, gender, ethnicity. We can aggregate your profile like nobody has ever been able to do, and that's highly monetizable. So with the permission of the user, we will give that barter, and we'll be able to monetize that platform, and that's a $400 million opportunity. Platform access fees. Anytime a shipper or deliverer accesses a Dronedek, that's reducing their costs. It's lowering their liability for theft, damage, those kind of things. And the consumer or the business are paying for that platform. So we're charging a small platform access fee with 1% market penetration. That's a $1.2 billion revenue line item for us. Charging fees. The biggest impediment to any kind of autonomous delivery is battery life. And we defeat that by creating a limitless range for commercial autonomous delivery. Every Dronedek has a charging station built into it. We see ourselves being able to charge EVs, drones, robots, bird and lime scooters, things like that. So if Amazon were to land and take a charge on one of your Dronedek units, you're paying the electric bill for that. So we're going to debit Amazon, we're going to credit you, and we're going to take a small transactional fee in the process. So that's an $80 million line item for us. And then ancillary services, advertising, traffic counting, streaming live video, all these kind of things. We're able to monetize those as well. And we see that as an $80 million opportunity too. So with just 1% market share, it's nearly a $5 billion opportunity. The total addressable market just in the U.S. is 160 million addresses. That number of addresses grows every single day by 4,000 new addresses. So it's an evergreen opportunity for Dronedek. We feel like we own the gateway to every home and business with our intellectual property. We view the delivery modes as kind of the commodity portion of the delivery ecosystem. We kind of view Dronedek as the monopoly portion of the delivery ecosystem, that one little piece of real estate where every delivery will start and end. And I just would say to everybody watching, if you ask yourself this question, what are the odds that autonomous delivery is going to happen? Do you think it's going to happen? If your answer is yes, then I would say, do you think autonomous delivery of any sort can happen without a Dronedek in that ecosystem? And, I'm talking about safeguarding items from theft, weather, animals, all these kind of things. Can you afford for the chain of custody of your item to be left open for even 1 minute? I mean, if you don't have a chain of custody where your food was protected the whole time from cradle to grave to where it delivered, I mean, that little doubt in your mind is, can you live with that? Items stolen, all these kind of things that we see every day. So I would say that if you believe autonomous delivery is going to happen, then you believe it's only going to happen with a Dronedek in the ecosystem. So as you're evaluating your investment options, do you want to play something that is the biggest market opportunity in the world? That's Dronedek. Do you want to invest in something that you yourself are going to use? That's Dronedek. Do you want to invest in something that is the next big thing that's right in front of you? Don't look back and say, wow, I saw this presentation. I hope that you can see what we see. One of the things we always say at Dronedek is there's literally more we don't know about what we're going to do than we do know. This is a brand new category. We have 111 patent claims that have either been awarded to us or filed for. We're growing our IP every day. There's new use cases that are popping up every day, things that nobody could have ever envisioned, but become real when you have this little gateway with great connectivity. So I just urge you to all consider it and just start thinking about yourself, how you would use a Dronedek, notifications, heated and cooled cargo area, the emergency light feature, decontaminating products that are delivered, on and on. There's so many things. And we think we have a very compelling opportunity. And I think the numbers here bear it out as the largest market opportunity in the world today. So with that said, I'll hand this back over to Anna. And thanks for listening to our story today, guys.
Oh, fascinating stuff. Thank you all so much. We do have tons of questions for you. Our audience is going crazy, but unfortunately, we have to get to our next presenter. So will you guys come back on and give us some updates in the future?
We will. Can we give out our contact info in case anybody wants to reach us?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, guys. Hey, my email address is dan@dronedek.com, DRONEDEK.com. My phone number, if you want to give me a ring, is 317-694-7520. We're very approachable and we answer every question. So sorry we ran out of time here, and I appreciate that.
That's okay. And Dan, we'll be sending all these questions to you with emails so you can get in touch with our viewers on your own.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, guys. See you again soon. All right,
guys.
everyone, stay with us. We'll be coming right back with our next presenter.